Hi, welcome to another Shabbat Sendoff with Jewish Community Action.
Hey.
I'm the director of JCA. My name's Carin.
My name's Aaron. I'm our housing organizer, and it looks like we have a new intern with us, Carin.
Ever younger interns, Aaron. This is my son. He is spending the day in the office with mom, as sometimes happens when you are a working person with kids. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Henry.
Henry, how old are you?
I'm 10, and
What?
I'm going into 5th grade.
Eventually. And what are your favorite things?
Reading, skateboarding, and Hamilton.
That's awesome.
What about Nintendo Switch?
Yeah.
All
right.
You're going to be our intern for the day?
Okay.
Okay, go get me some coffee. Awesome. So come in, buddy. Not you. It's been a week, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been a week.
Yeah.
Trying week.
A trying week. Are they all?
Trying?
Yeah. We're trying.
We're trying. I can't speak to everyone.
Yeah. I said this online yesterday, but when I took over as director of JCA, earlier this spring, we were already in really challenging political times.
Yeah.
And never expected that just a few months later I would be watching as white supremacists and neo-Nazis just descended upon a town with torches, looking to create some mayhem and send a message, which we heard. Got it. Did you hear it, Aaron?
I heard it. I think one thing that really made it sink in for me was the article we shared from the president of the synagogue in Charlottesville about their experience on Saturday morning. And, it's just been, a tough week.
It's a tough week. And we're still here.
We're still here.
We're still here. JCA is still here. I was actually I was on NPR earlier this week with Tom Weber, sharing some reactions and sharing what JCA thinks are the next steps, the path ahead here in Minnesota. You should check it out. We will post a link in the comments here of this Shabbat Sendoff. And we're still here, and we're going to do this work. We're going to organize Jews to fight white supremacy wherever it takes root. Whether that is in the streets, whether that is in our legislature, and whether that is in our immigration system and our criminal justice system, and all of the ways in which we know there are tremendous disparities.
Yep.
Would be a word.
Yep.
And what can you do? What can you do to be part of this? You can join JCA. You can make a gift to JCA. We don't usually use the Shabbat Sendoff to raise money, but certainly a lot of folks this week have been saying, Carin, what can I do? How can I be part of this? Most of our funding to do work organizing Jews to fight racism comes from individual contributions. So you can make a donation to JCA. You can become a monthly sustaining member, which is the absolute best and strongest way to support this Jewish voice for racial justice. And there will be a link in this video as well.
Carin, do I have to be Jewish to be a member of JCA?
That's a good question. I give money to the ACLU, and I am not a lawyer.
Yeah, I give money to Planned Parenthood, and I'm not a woman.
No. Join JCA. You don't have to be Jewish. Our work, again, is organizing the Jewish community to fight for racial and economic justice. If you are a Jew and you want to be part of that, join us. And if you're a non-Jew and you want to support it, join us. You don't have to be Jewish to be part of JCA. You don't have to be Jewish to understand what is facing us and want to be a part of the solution. So... Speaking of solutions, we are actually I want to move on from the and highlight, Aaron, you had a program last night. Aaron is our affordable housing organizer, and he had a program last night, and I just want to hear about it.
Yeah, it was really amazing, and I think Carin and I were talking after the program last night, and just how good it felt to see something positive in the community and really lift our spirits after this week. I think it was just really amazing to see community come together around affordable housing, something that we know, people are getting displaced because rents are rising. There's an article in the city pages this morning about cost burden households in Minneapolis. We see articles weekly about this issue, and so it was really good to bring the community together. Our event was in St. Louis Park. we really want to thank our panelists, and we also want to thank Senator Ron Latz, Representative Peggy Flanagan, and Cheryl Joachim, and Councilmember Ann Mavity from St. Louis Park for coming. It was really amazing to see them there. Our panelists, though, were incredible. We had a resident at Oak Park Village, which is an apartment complex in St. Louis Park, talk about some of the discrimination and bad landlord practices they've been experiencing and how they organized to meet with the property managers and really change their situation there, and how when people get together and organize, how much of a change you can make in the tenants' lives in a building. We also heard from 2 former residents of Meadowbrook, which is a 550 unit complex in St. Louis Park that was sold, and rents were increased between $200 and $500 per unit. And just the struggles people are facing when they lose their housing, they're displaced, they have to move far away from their jobs and their families. They no longer can be dependent on public transit if they move out far west or far east or north. So, you know, we're facing this housing crisis, and it just really felt great to get 80, 90 people in a room together.
That room was packed.
It was packed.
With people who believe that affordable housing should be a human right, and that this is about maintaining community.
Yep.
I went to the forum last night because I really needed to experience stuff being great and work being successful. And it was it was a forum about affordable housing, and it was very soul-filling, which is like a nerdy thing to say.
Yeah. So we're looking to the St. Louis Park City Council to pass a couple ordinances around tenant protections. We're really excited, and hopefully they take note from the community who gathered last night that we want our residents to stay in the communities that they want to live in.
For sure. And what other cities are you working in, Aaron?
So we're in Minnetonka, we're in Plymouth, we're in Minneapolis, St. Louis Park, Golden Valley, but we also have teams all across the West Metro. So Richfield, Bloomington, Eden Prairie.
Yeah. And if you want to get involved, Aaron. AARON at jewishcommunityaction.org.
That's me.
That's him. So you ready for a little Torah?
I'm ready.
Okay. So this week's Torah portion is Parsha Re'eh. And we're in the middle of where we're getting all of the commandments, right? This is like the list of like, you should do this and you should do that. It can feel a little dry.
Yeah.
This one's actually really interesting to me because this is the parsha where we get where Moses gives the Israelites instructions on many things. There's kashrut, there's dietary laws, and there's also instructions on how to treat your slaves. And you're like, what? Weren't we just slaves? Yes. So the Israelites, having just been freed from slavery, are heading into the Promised Land, and they are receiving their instructions on how to properly treat their slaves. Which is kind of unsettling, right?
Yeah. Quite a week for that.
Right, because right, for them too. Because what we're saying is we just were liberated from slavery and now we're going to have slaves. I would prefer that the Torah said slavery is bad. That was not the case. What the Torah does is it creates regulations. It creates rules for how to be a good slave owner. What it's doing is it's introducing humanity into what we understand now as an oppressive system.
Yep.
So my modern reading of this is, gosh, this is frustrating. Slavery's wrong. My other modern take on this is that our job is to read this every year, to read this portion, and to grapple with that, to grapple with the fact that upon being liberated from slavery, we immediately formed our own system of doing slavery right. And there's stuff in there because, again, this is introducing humanity into an oppressive system. I think where I want to take this week is that we have to grapple with our history. You know, we have to read the Torah and remember that we were slaves. You know, our community has a lot of stories that come out of our liberation from slavery. We also have stories about ourselves as slave owners, and we need to read those. We need to grapple with them. Here in America, I've been hearing a lot this week about, the rallies last weekend, that this is not American and this is not who we are as Americans. And I know that we have a lot of people in this country who look at rallies like that and see it as part of the pathway to making America great again. And I guess I would say I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to some mythical time. I'd like to keep moving forward by breaking down oppression.
Yeah.
And not erase our history, but continue to grapple with it.
Yeah.
And to not deny, when I hear people say this is not America, America was founded literally by stealing the land of Native people, and our economy was premised on the promise of free labor from enslaved Africans and Asian people, and we can't deny that. We can't run away from it. It's our job to grapple with it and then figure out not how to go back, but how to move forward.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah. So that's our job this week, is to read this and to remember that we were slaves and then we were slave owners.
Yeah.
And to use that to move forward in actual greatness. And also to remember that one of the commandments we were given is that at the end of 6 years of owning a slave, what happens?
They get set free.
Yeah. One of the commandments is that after you have owned your brother or sister for 6 years, in the 7th year they go free. And so built into this oppressive system, there is the promise of liberation for everyone. And none of us are free unless we're all getting free.
Yeah.
Right? So let's get free.
Yash Koach, thank you.
Yeah. Shabbat shalom, folks.
Shabbat shalom.